So start off by preparing 2 9-inch cake pans, specifically spring forms in this case. Unlock them, cut out a piece of parchment paper to fit the bottom, grease the bottom, stick the parchment paper down all up in there, grease the parchment paper, grease the walls, and you're ready to go. So you're going to start by sifting out 2 cups or 300 grams of all-purpose flour. Then you're going to realize that your bowl is too small, so you're going to switch out to a bigger bowl because, yeah, we think ahead here. Then you're going to sift in 3/4 of a cup or 80 grams of cocoa powder, followed by 2 teaspoons or 10 grams of baking powder, 3/4 of a teaspoon or 3 grams of baking soda, 1.5 teaspoons or 7 grams of fine sea salt, and 1 cup or 220 grams of granulated white sugar, 3/4 of a cup or 150 grams of brown sugar. And give that some whiskey business until it's thoroughly combined. There, see, I said whiskey business, all right? Everybody got mad because I didn't say it last time. Very sorry. Now look, this next part you can totally just put all together in a bowl and mix it and that'll be fine, but I like to do it this way, which is you'll take 2 egg yolks. So we're whisking those together, and then you're gonna slowly drizzle in 1/2 cup or 120 milliliters of a neutral tasting oil. You're essentially making a mayo, right? And it's gonna get nice and emulsified. Now when it starts to get a little too thick, you're then going to add 1 tablespoon or 12 grams of vanilla extract, then continue to keep drizzling in your oil until all of it is added. Once all of it's been added, you're then going to add 2 large eggs, whisk all that together, and then take that custardy mix, and you're gonna pour it directly into your dry mix, fold that together, and it's gonna get all dry and clumpy and crumbly like this. Don't worry, calm down, all right? It's fine. That's supposed to happen. Now separately, you're gonna heat up 1 3/4 of a cup or 415 milliliters of whole milk. You're gonna heat that up just until it begins to simmer. Do not boil it. Pull it off the heat, and then whisk it directly into your crumbly boy mixture. Now keep whisking and whisking until everything is nice and thoroughly incorporated and as smooth as it'll go. Sometimes it'll get a little clumpy, that's totally fine, but you want it to be as smooth as possible. Then just evenly split that between 2 9-inch cake pans that have been prepared as described previously, and you're just gonna pop that into the oven at 350 degrees Fahrenheit or 175 degrees Celsius for 30 to 35 minutes, or until an inserted toothpick comes out clean. Then just pull those out, let those cool inside the cake pan for 10 minutes, unmold your cake pan. In this case, I use springform pans, which are much easier to use. Then just carefully invert, this is really like, what the heck is going on, bro?
What is this, amateur hour? Come on.
And then place them on a wire rack until completely cool. Don't try to frost these if they're warm, okay? You're gonna have a real bad time, brother, all right? Also, I would recommend cooling them upside down so that they stay flat. I kind of regret letting them stand up because those rounded tops are a bit hard to shape, so let them cool upside down. So let's talk frosting. You're gonna mix together 4 cups or 500 grams of powdered sugar, 1/2 cup or 55 grams of cocoa powder, and a generous pinch of sea salt. Give that some whiskey business until thoroughly combined. Make sure to get some of that powdered sugar smoke in the air, that way you breathe it in and cough all over the place, but hey, it tastes good. Using a stand mixer or electric beaters, beat 1/2 cup or 110 grams of softened unsalted butter till nice and creamy, and then beat in your powdered sugar mixture. It's gonna get a little dusty, right? It's fine. Add it in batches until it's all thoroughly combined, and then thin it out with whole milk. Now you're gonna need around 1/4 cup to 1/2 cup of whole milk, just, depending on how that goes. You want the consistency to look like this when it's all done. It should be thick yet easily spreadable. Now it's time to frost your cakes. Yeah, it's a lot of jokes there, but we're not gonna make them. Place one of your cakes on a cake stand or a cutting board. Add about 1 cup of your frosting into the center. Spread it out evenly. Add your next cake on top of that. Smush it down, make sure it's nice and glued there. And then spread the rest of your frosting on the top and all over the sides to seal the edges. It doesn't have to be perfect, all right? To be honest with you, I'm not the best frosting spreader, Now once everything's nice and frosted, looks good, right? But just take it a little bit higher by freshly grating some nice dark chocolate on top. Get those little shavings everywhere. Bada bing, bada boom, your cake is done. I would recommend letting that set for at least a couple hours or overnight, but you can also cut it now if you want. And yes, you can leave this at room temperature. Just put an overturned bowl on top of it, set it to the side, and leave it in a cool area.